Hey, what's up, y'all? This is J Love from Jacktown, Mississippi, and I'd like to welcome you to an encouraging word with J Love. And I'd like to take this time to share with you today how to get over an obstacle. Now, you might say, J Love, what is an obstacle? And according to Webster, an obstacle is a thing that blocks one's way, hinders or prevents progress. And you know, we all have had some obstacles in our life, whether it be last year before that, and we all know that we're going to have some obstacles this year. So I just wanted to share just an encouraging word with you on how to get through some of those obstacles. You know that when we have obstacles, something that hinders us, we need to know how to get through it or how to face it. And we know that we can't do anything without God. You know, God had gave me this word a couple of years ago, and so I'm sharing it with you now. You know, God is a sovereign God, and that means that God is the ruler of the universe, and He is free, and He can do anything that He wants to do, and there's nothing that God can't do. So if we have anything that's hindering us this year, we need to take it to God, for God can do all things but fail. You know, we need to build a personal relationship with God. You know, when you have a personal relationship with God, then that's where you're going to be able to hear from God. And He's going to give you good advice on how to get through some of the things that might be hindering us. And, you know, during our trials and tribulations, we tend to take our eyes off of God, and we seem to put our eyes back on the situation, and when we put our eyes and our hands back on our situation, we don't do nothing but make that thing seem bigger and more out of control. So if you have something going on in your life that's hindering you from being the best you than you can possibly be, then you need to evaluate that thing and get that thing out of your life so that you can be the best you this year. Because we're going to make 2018 all about us. And thinking about obstacles and things that we try to hinder us, you know, we weren't even made to handle situations on our own. You know, if we would turn to John 15:5, it says that I am the vine and you are the branches. If you remain in me, I will remain in you. You will bear much fruit. Apart from me, and you can do nothing. God already told us that we can't do nothing without Him. He already said it in His word. But we'll try to handle every situation without God. And that's why things will begin to block our progress. Things will begin to hinder our progress. That's where an obstacle will come into your life. But if you want to get out of that obstacle, what you need to do is to stay connected to the vine. You know, every obstacle is not going to be a bad obstacle. What the devil meant for harm, we know that God can turn that thing around for the good. We have to learn to wait on God during an obstacle. Sometimes God can take an obstacle and it can become a blessing or a great opportunity for us. You know, a lot of us don't know how to be patient. We just don't know how to be patient. Now, if you say, J Love, I don't know how to be patient, so somebody's going to have to help me with this. Well, God is the one that can help you with this. If you don't have no patience, I want you to go to God right now, and I want you to go to God and say, God, I need you to help me to get some patience. I need you to help me to learn how to wait on you. Now, while you're waiting on God, we need to pray. We need to be praying, and we need to be reading the Word, and we need to be surrounding our people with like-minded people like God, so that when we wait on this obstacle to be moved, we can be in perfect peace. Because when our minds are idle, that's the devil's workshop right there. He'll begin to put all these negative things in our mind, and then this obstacle in our mind will just blow up right before our eyes. It'll turn into a mountain that we don't know how to move. So that's why we need to stay connected to God. So if you want to get over an obstacle, what do you got to do? You got to stay connected. Stay connected to God, who has all power in His hand. Now, God can teach us patience. He can give us anything that we need. We just have to go to God. Now, sometimes God will leave that that obstacle in your life. And you might say, well, why does God want to leave an obstacle or something that's hindering me in my life? Sometimes God will put something in our lives to block us from getting hurt, or from doing something that we shouldn't have done, or from saying something that we shouldn't say. Because sometimes when you do some things or say some things, sometimes it's impossible to get those things back. So sometimes God will hinder us when he wants us to be still, because he's working on something. He's working on our behalf. He's working on something that will help you, to be a blessing to you. So let's not count all obstacles as something bad, okay? Now, and then when God puts this, and when God lets an obstacle stay in your life, he has a way of fitting that obstacle into your life. He has a plan for that obstacle. He can fit that obstacle into your life, if only for a season. Now, an obstacle is something that hinders you. Now, this year, J Love wants you to get by yourself. And she wants you to do a self-check. What is a self-check, J Love? Self-check is I want you to go in and get by yourself, get in front of a mirror, and examine yourself. See what things are hindering you from being the best you that you can possibly be this year. J Love wants you to be the best you that you can be. Because you are a star. Not only are you a star, but you are a superstar. God has a plan for you. Somebody's waiting on you. So we don't need no hindrances this year. We don't need nothing to hinder us from being the best you that you can be. So I want you to get by yourself, look in the mirror, or say, okay, do I need to lose some weight so that I can get healthier? That's a hindrance. Do I need to stop smoking, stop cursing? Do I need to pray more? Do I need to go to church, find me a good church home? Do I need to get some of these people out of my circle that's only to keep bringing me down and not lifting me up? All these things can be a hindrance to you. Get these things out. It's like a big wall, and you've got to start chopping and chiseling at that wall, knocking that wall down. But you can't do it without God, because God can do all things. God has all of our resources. Money is a resource. Material things are a resource. He has all these resources that can help us to avoid these hindrances, these obstacles in our life, because God is the source. So we've got to go to the source if we want to be overcome an obstacle in our life. Now I want you to make 2018 your year for building a new relationship with God. If you don't have a relationship with God, people, I want you to build a relationship with God. And then once you build a relationship with God, you will begin to feel better about yourself, because you're going to be starting to identify with who you are. Some of us, we grow up in this world, and we take on so many different roles in our life. Mother, sister, wife, friend, all these different roles and we haven't even identified who we are yet. And that can be a big hindrance in us. So that's why I want you to do a self-check this year and find out who you are, what makes you happy, what do you want to do. Now, if you've got somebody in your life that's bringing a lot of confusion in your life, God is not a God of confusion. I want you to examine that thing carefully. I'm not telling you to leave that person. But if there's nothing but turmoil and your anger and discomfort, then you might want to reevaluate that thing and say, maybe I need to just find me a safe place. Find me a comfort place. And when you find a relationship with God, all these things are going to come into place. Everything is going to come into place. Everything. Once you get a relationship with God. Now, remember that God can you are an overcomer with Christ. Okay? We all are overcomers with Christ. So if you want to know how to get through an obstacle, you have to get a relationship with God. You got to connect yourself back to the vine. You got to take your branch and connect it back to the vine so that you can begin to move obstacles, move mountains out of your way. We got to learn how to trust God. That's what we got to do this year. We got to learn how to trust God. You know, we got to have faith. You know, there's somebody out there who's going through something as I speak. And you don't know what to do. You've cried. You've cried so many nights. But God said that weeping may endure for a night. But he said that joy is going to come in the morning. Now, whoever you are, whoever I'm speaking to, God wanted me to let you know that he is setting up the right people right now. He's setting all the people up. He's setting everything up for your breakthrough. He's setting up something right now so that you are going to be an overcomer. And God's getting ready to move that mountain out of your life. But now when God moves that mountain out of your life, you can't go back to it. You can't go right back to it. You've got to make a change. There's got to be a change in your life in 2018. Because God wants you to be the best you that you can possibly be. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wind this thing up. I don't want to make this a drawn out video. But I want to leave you with Isaiah 40 and 31. And it says, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings of an eagle. They shall run and not grow weary. They shall walk and not faint." I'm J Love.